It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to be talking about the seaside market at Touc's Trading Harbor. So this is going to be a guide for all players that maybe are not utilizing it to the maximum benefits, maybe just could get more benefit overall together from it, and the way I approach the seaside market so that I get maximum benefit out of it too. So the first thing is these rarities. I tend to not usually trade these unless it's during a golden age event, just because you get small participation points for any singular trade, but they don't give you like high points like some of the other items. So they're not going to really help in that essence, but they will help for just like small points. But more than that, if there's like an event going on like there's now, where if you trade something in the seaside market you get certain mission completion, then that's one of the times that I will trade these rarities specifically. But normally I don't. If you find yourself like really needing it last minute, that's a exception that I'm sure some people might run into, but that's about one of the few times that I look at those. Now, as far as the sea glass and the maps, you can go ahead and trade for these if you feel that you have the excess resources so that you can get those islands done a little bit faster. But you will be surprised at how quickly your resources deplete when going through that mode, because you can get the seaside market about 3 times a day if you log in every 4 hours. And so for that, you can burn through 9 to 12 rarities each day just by doing that. So it is an option to get the islands done a little bit faster. I have not personally done it just because the islands come over time, so I'm not rushing that one too much. But this is something you could still do if you want. I do happen to do this one quite a lot. So trading the base powders for the rare powders. Reason I like to do that one is that the fountain and a couple of other spots will give you base level powders quite often. And I don't think I've personally found myself in a shortage of base level powders in the late game. Now, if you're early game, obviously this might be a different situation for you, of course. But when you are later on, you want to save up those pristine powders, you want to save up the rare powders. This is a really easy thing you can do daily to do that. And if you feel that you're still not getting enough powders, you usually have one trade a day right here where you can get a base powder. But as you can see, I have 971 of this one, so there's really not a benefit for me to do that. But if we go over to here, we only have 295 of the magic rare powders. So why not do that? It's going to be worth it for that run. So that's something I do recommend, getting those powder trades every day. That's going to be helpful for a lot of things, but won't count towards the golden age of trade if it does come to that event. Now from here on, things do count for golden age of trade. They will be beneficial for that, and they will be beneficial for you as well. So here's my personal recommendations. Flour and milk, try not to give those up as a trade. Now, obviously, you can see 65 flour for 2 of the cotton candy wool. And cotton candy wools are worth it really high points in the Tree of Wishes, worth really good amounts in the dock side harbor. Both good areas, but 65 flour can take you roughly about 7 hours to make, depending on your research labs. And so that might be a little bit tough because you're giving up 7 hours worth of stuff when you could make it cheaper in the traditional way versus trading right here. If it was like 20 cotton wool, that would be a huge win for sure. You'd be like, oh, why wouldn't I trade that? I'm getting more resources in technicality. So that one I'm not really seeing as a good jive to do that one. Same goes for these massive ones right here. If Golden Age of Trade is going on, I understand, but like 300 stone for 54 flour, it's pretty hefty. It's going to take a lot of stone sugar time to be able to do that. So I tread lightly on that one. And wood is pretty easy to make, so that one you can kind of do like for here, 500, 1,000. Yes, that's quite a hefty amount, but you can just set up the huge bundles and be done with them in an hour and get almost all of your wood right back anyway. So that one's kind of acceptable. And then at this point, you can get the Pristine powders sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be Soulstone, sometimes Pristine powders, sometimes some other things. But these are ones I love. So here, I mean, I have 200 saws, 4 magic powders that are Pristine. That's awesome. That's like having a free bounty day almost. This one's a little tough. I'm not going to do 60 of the jelly jams because I'm running low on that right now. If I had like over 200, I'd be completely fine with that. This one, when you get into the higher resources like this, it will still take me time to make these, but I'm not using them too much, so I'm going to go ahead and actually make a trade like that. And as you can see, I did the one that was here earlier. So I'm not going to do this one because I just don't have that resource, and I don't want to use the last of my resource on this one because I have 586 of these powders. I'm not really needing them right now. And as you can see, it even gives a little description of like skill 41 to level 60. So we'll hit a free refresh, and then as you can see, 6 hours we'll have the next time that we can go through. So same thing, just gonna trade in these ones. I don't mind that deal. That one's a little bit hefty. This one's good. 10 of these for 24 flour. I like that. 6 milk, too much, just because milk's more valuable than the actual flour. And if we go forward, I can't get any of the soul stones because I have the max, so I'm not even able to make that trade, which I kind of am sad about because that would be free mileage, and I would really love to just trade that for free mileage. So, Dev Sisters, if you're listening, please make that an option. And then the time jumps, they're not always in my wheelhouse to look for, so I'm not necessarily going to spend 10 of those for that. Or this one, the EXP jellies, I usually do try to get all the jellies if I can. Depends on the resource request. So let me know in the feedback in the comments if anything is a specific strategy for you. Do you avoid the seaside market altogether? Do you only do it for missions? How do you use it? What do you use it best for? What has it gotten you thanks to the way it's laid out? Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and thank you so much for all your support. Please like and subscribe if you want to just help the channel out, of course. And other than that, have a wonderful day.